Okay, today we're moving on to our last lesson on Unit 7, and it has to deal with consumer math. Your learning target, you can calculate prices of various situations. So you need to know some vocabulary aligned with consumer math. First, markup. Markup is a percentage increase of the business's price. It's how businesses make a profit. They have to mark it up to get a profit. Discount is a percentage decrease of the original price. That is your sales. So markup is how you make profit. You're marking it up. You're going to get more expensive. Discount is decreasing. You're on sale. You're subtracting. In tax, it's a percentage increase of a selling price. That means if you buy something for $8, you're going to be taxed for $8 as long as it's a taxable item. In commission, that's a percent earned based on sales. Okay? That is things like real estate agents, work on commission, car salesmen, furniture salesmen, vacuum salesmen. A lot of people in sales work on commission. So they earn a certain percent of what they sell. There's two ways to figure out consumer type math. Method number one is to do percent times amount. And then you're going to add or subtract them. Method number two is to create a proportion. And that's what we've been doing the last 2 units. So you would do part is to whole as percent is to 100. I'll show you both ways. So this first example is dealing with commission. Let's say a real estate agent earns 2.5% commission on home sales. If they sold a home in Troutbrook for $250,000, how much commission did they earn? Method number one, you do percent times amount. So 2.5% times 250,000. Don't forget to put the percent symbol in your calculator. So I'm going to go 2.5% times 250,000, and that is 6,250. That one I don't need to add or subtract for. You only add and subtract for discounts, tax, and markup. Method number two is to create that proportion. And so we have 2.5% would go up on the right. And the whole is how much they sold the home for. So that's 250,000. And X would go on the top. And then you just solve your cross product. 100X equals 250,000 times 2.5 is 625,000 divided by 100, and you get $6,250. So two strategies, both strategies will give you the same answer. So you do what you are most comfortable with. The next one, I definitely am going to use proportion because I'm looking for my interest rate. It says if a car salesman earns $1,500 on a car sale, that total $23,000, what's their commission rate? So I'm looking for the rate. So that's a little, I can't do percent times amount on this because I don't know the percent. So I'm going to go ahead and create a proportion. 1,500, is that part of the car sale or all of the car sale? We should know it's part. The whole car came to 23,000, and I'm looking for my interest rate. So we get 23,000x equals 1,500 times 100 is 150,000 divided by 23,000, and you get x equals 6.5 when I round it. So you say 6.5% interest or commission that they earned. Okay, moving to the next page. Now we're going to deal with markup. Remember, markup is how businesses earn their profit. So you're going to end up having to add with this because you have to add it to their total. American Eagle, let's say they spent $56 on a jacket. Their markup percent is 63%. How much are we going to pay for the jacket? So method number 1 would be to do percent times amount. So 63% times $56, and that's $35.28. Now they're clearly not selling it for that because they didn't even pay that much. They paid more than that. So they're gonna sell it for 56, what they paid, plus their profit they want to make, $35.28. So 56 plus $35.28 is $91.28. That's how much we are going to pay for the jacket. Method number 2 is a proportion. So I know I'm 63%, I know I'm out of 100, and I know American Eagle paid 56. That's their whole. My part is how much profit I want to make. The part is the profit. So I go 100x equals 56 times 63 is $35.28 divided by 100. X is $35.28. That's their part. Part, this is really their profit. Profit is part of the whole. So then what they're going to sell it for, again, you would add it, and then you get $91.28. Okay? Let's say ticket sales have a markup of 175%. Ticketmaster purchases tickets to Taylor Swift for 24 bucks. How much are the fans going to pay? So method 1, percent times amount. So I can go 175% times 24. So 175% times 24 is 42. That is how much profit they're going to make. So what I'm going to pay is 24 plus 42, and that is equal to $66 is how much my ticket is going to cost. Method number 2, proportion. So I have 175 over 100. My part I'm looking for, that's my markup. The whole cost was 24. I only want to mark it up part. 100x equals 24 times 175 is 4,200. Divided by 100, x is 42. Remember that this only represents their profit. That's the part is their profit, so they're going to sell it for what they paid for it, 24 plus the profit they want to make, for a total sale of $66. Okay, the next method is discounts. There's 2 ways. You can either find your discount or find the percent that you're going to pay. And I'll show you both strategies. Let's say Adidas sneakers at Famous Footwear are $64.99. They're having a sale for 20% off. How much are you going to pay? So you are going to pay $64.99, take away the discount. So you could do percent times amount, 20% times 64.99. And that rounds to $13 when you round. And then you have to subtract. You have to remember that this is what's getting taken away. So what I'm going to pay then is $64.99, take away my $13, and that is $51.99 is what I will pay. Method number 2 is to create a proportion. So there's 2 different proportions you can use. A lot of kids like to use the 20% is to 100, but you have to remember that this is the 20% represents off. So you should have, it's going to be what you get off is to total as what you get off is to the total percent of 100. So $64.99 is my total. This is going to represent how much I get off. 100x equals 64.99 times 2 is 129. 0.98. Divide that by 100 and you get, whoops. Well, I think I messed up here. 1 second. Okay, yeah, my decimal's in the wrong spot here. So it's 1299.8. And then divide it by 100 and you get x equals 12.99. But I'm going to round it to that 13. Again, that represents the part off. So what I'm going to pay is $64.99. Take away the 13, which is $51.99. The proportion that I like to use pay is to whole as what you pay, percent pay is to the whole 100%. That way it will immediately tell you what you're going to pay. So if I set that up, my percent, let's see, my whole is 64.99. 100 is over here. If I get 20% off, then I pay 80%. And I need to know what I pay for the part. Set it up. 100x equals 64.99 times 80 is 5199.2. Divided by 100 and you get x equals 51.99. And that represents my paid, and I didn't have to subtract. So you have to be cautious when you're making those proportions. Let's do another one. Hoverboards cost $399.99. They're having a sale for 30% off. What is the sale price? So you can go 30% times $399.99. 399.99 times 30% is rounded to $120. Now that's how much I get off, so what I pay is the $399.99, take away 120, and that is $279.99. Method 2, proportions. I'm going to say what I pay is to my total, my whole, as the percent I pay is to my whole percent of 100. So I don't know what I'm going to pay. My whole price was $399.99. If I get 30% off, then I pay 70% over 100. 100x equals 399.99 times 70 is 27999.3. Divide it by 100 and you get x equals 279.99. If you like to use the 30% off, then it's really going to be what you get off is to your whole, as your percent off is to 100. So that would be just like strategy 1, where you would have to subtract in the end. And we got 30% off. So you get 100x equals 30 times 399.99 equals 11,999.7. Divide it by 100 and I get 120 rounded. Again, that's what I get off of the total, so I would have to subtract 399.99, take away 120, and that is your 279.99. So really 3 ways to deal with this discount situation. Method number 1, percent times amount and subtract. Percent times amount, subtract. Method number 2, proportions. You can do what you pay is to whole as percent pay is to whole